Welcome to VRX Pit Stop. Today I'm going to be showing you how I created this brushless VRX Spirit from barely a rolling chassis with damaged parts and brushed setup. So this is a complete overhaul and it's going to be in two parts. The first part is going to be all the mechanical damages fixed up, and then the second part is going to be the electronics with the motor and the brushless S. And there are a lot of tips scattered throughout these two parts, so I'll note them. Well, let's get into it. As you can see, there is damage to the top chassis plate right there. The screw hole has been damaged, and now I can't screw that top plate back in. On the bulkhead side of things, we've got a screw that's completely gone through, torn through the plastic as it did with the top chassis plate. The other thing I've already done on this is this front part of the chassis had been snapped too. Before you lose your chassis, you will lose that front end. And you know, I'm just talking if you're doing some heavy bashing, which I do. Last thing that's wrong with this one, this steering arm, the bushing has been ripped out of it too. Your options to replace that are, you can either put the bushings back in the arm, which is part number 10220, or you can replace that steering arm, which is 10319. I'm going to be doing both since I have both parts. First, let's start by taking this bulkhead apart. So you don't have to disconnect absolutely everything on there, because we just want to get the arms off and the shocks off. Start with a 2.5mm hex driver or Allen key and just get those out. Now, sometimes we get dirt in there like that. The air compressor or canned compressed air, a great option. I'm just going to leave the bottom screws in on the shocks because they can stay on these arms. Get those steering arms off the top there. Take note that the long screws belong to those. Now when you take those steering arms out, your dog bones will be just hanging loose. Don't worry about that because they'll be attached to the CV in there. Next thing we're going to do is take off these front suspension holders. These are very long screws that go in there. Just take note of where all these screws go because they're all different and you don't want to be making your own threads. Now I've done it before, but we will be greasing the hinge pins, which allows your arms to move freely. Sometimes they can seize up, which I will put in another video. I have an example of that. And you'll possibly have to replace your hinge pin and the suspension arm if that happens. So next you'll have this little M3 screw in the middle there. Now that those three screws are out, we'll be able to take these front suspension holders off. Sometimes the hinge pins, since I've greased them, sometimes they'll just come out real easy like that. Other times you might need to use the pliers and just hold them real straight while you pull them out. Sway bar's easy. You can just take the two top screws out, like so, and then all you have to do is undo these bottom ones very slightly, and you'll be able to turn those away. Sway bar will just come out, like so. There's your diff box. We'll open that up in a sec. Put that aside and let's focus on this now. There'll be two screws on the back here. And then you should just be able to pull your diff apart, nice and greasy. Now make sure that I use a highly refined grease that doesn't destroy the plastic too. I'm using a grease that's got PTFE in it, so even when it runs dry, it won't actually be dry if there wasn't any grease on it. You do not have to take that apart, which is a bonus. And if it wasn't this side that was damaged, which it is, then I wouldn't even have to take that gear out there. We got this grub screw on the other side, just loosen it that little bit, enough to pull that diff cup, which will reveal your bearing, which now you should be able to push that gear out from the back. I usually don't use anything to grab the gear, I'll just push it out because I don't want to damage it with pliers. Okay, bearing comes out with it and there'll be a bearing on the other side, which we'll need to push out as well. So yeah, when you order your diff box, you won't get these bearings with it, of course. There you go. You can replace these bearings with some high quality ones, which you can look up on AliExpress. You can grease those bearings up too. Now don't throw your old diff gearbox away just yet, because we do need this post here, this shock tower. Now here's my new diff gearbox, and that is part number 10123. As you can see, the bearings are not in it. Unfortunately, we have them available from our last set. So we'll transfer that bearing, that first bearing, into the new gearbox. Just putting a bit of grease on there. Then, since mine stayed together, I can just put it in like this, but otherwise just put that second bearing in there, followed by this gear, and there you go. If you find that your gear's not greased up enough, you can put a bit of grease in that hole before you put this gear in there too. Be wary that it'll probably just get pushed out the other side. Take the diff cup that we had and put it back on the end there. Now this shaft will have a flat side where it should connect. Just make sure it's facing that flat side when you screw it on. Make sure that's on there nice and tight. So smooth with those bearings grease. This is when you should definitely whack a bit of grease on top of it at least, which I've done. Next, take your diff gear assembly and place it in your diff box this way around. So it's on that side with the shaft facing this way, because we don't want your two diffs driving against each other, like front and reverse facing each other like that. So just take note of the way I'm putting it in. This is the way it goes. I've noticed my bearings are a bit filthy, so I might just give them a wipe and then grease. I only like to put a little bit on the bearings. Back to here now, hit the other side of your diff box. Should go together fairly easily. And then the first thing we'll do is we'll get these two screws on the back, those fairly long ones in there. Back to your 2mm drivers. Just make sure that it's gone together completely. Okay, so grab your old diff box and just unscrew all the screws that hold this tower in place so we can grab it off. They're all with your 2mm driver. So there's that piece. So it goes on the opposite side of the diff cup with the protruding parts for the shocks facing outwards, obviously. And it just kind of, you'll feel it clip in. It won't stay in there, but it'll click, and then you can screw those screws back in. It takes quite a few screws just for a small piece because it encounters a lot of vibration. Make sure everything's in nice and tight. Now on part of your old diff gearbox you'll have the back suspension holders. So we'll need to remove these back suspension holders. As always, your 2mm. And when I say back suspension holder, I don't mean your rear suspension holder, I just mean the rear piece of your front suspension holder. Oh dear. Okay, we're going to take that and we're going to put it on our new diff gearbox. It goes on the diff cup side. Just hold it all together, they are quite long. This is where you can grab your front suspension holder and your hinge pins. I'm just going to take them out. And now I can give that a wipe and grease these hinge pins up. Bad habit, not wearing gloves. Okay, so grab your front end with the wheels and then take your suspension holder with the hinge pins in it. The side that the shocks are on, that's where we're going to go in. And now they're in like so. Just put that little tiny dab of grease on each side and place that back in there like so. It looks like my hinge pin has got a little bend in it. Sometimes I'll replace them, sometimes I'll hammer them out. That should be right. As long as things are moving smoothly, then there's no issue. That grease really does its job. If you're more comfortable using an inert grease that is definitely safe for plastics, that's a silicone grease you should use. Something like this or like this. Next thing you want to do is secure the front suspension holder. So remember, they are the longest screws. This is when you definitely don't want to get stuck with Allen keys. Get your hex screwdrivers. They're pretty cheap off AliExpress as well. You can also go to Bunnings and grab them from there. I have both. The magnets from the AliExpress ones are actually stronger than the king chrome ones I bought from Bunnings, and they haven't rounded yet. Now after this screw, you've just got that little one that goes in the middle. That one there. Okay, next thing we're going to do is just get the shock towers in, so we've got a bit of stability there. This is your opportunity to change your shock settings if you want, whether you want to be more squat to the ground or you want more clearance, even if you just want to play around with settings. It's going to be too small to get these M3 screws in, and you're going to have to bore them out yourself a little bit, but make sure it's very straight and don't use an electric drill. You can use your hand and the screw to actually bore it out. Now this is your chance to take a couple longer screws and put them through these arms here, these upper suspension arms, and they go through the tower. I like to put slightly longer screws because they get ripped out when you're bashing. Sometimes I'll go a step further and put a nut on the end as well. So that's what we're going to put in now, but first you've got to get that dog bone into the diff drive cup there. Once you've got the dog bone in, you can screw the upper suspension arm back in. Just hold the screw very straight. You don't want to bore it out, especially not here. Then you'll definitely have to use a nut on the other side. Same on the other side, get that dog bone in there, turn the wheel until it meets. Now, remember this arm here, how I said I'm going to be putting the socket back in it and replacing it as well. So I'll take this off here, shiny new one. And when you replace these arms, the flat side goes down and the ball goes up. So it should look like that when it's sandwiched in. Now the other side is hanging off the chassis already. That is set up, ready to be attached to the chassis. We're going to change this top chassis plate first. Because if you recall, this one's split. So there's a screw on your servo saver, another steering post there. And then on the other end, 2 more screws. You'll have your receiver, which I'll probably replace the antennas a bit rooted on this one. Just go in my bag of wrap. This is a good time to inspect your servo saver. Make sure your C-clip or E-clip, whichever one you have, is in good nick. So I've got a C-clip here. And maybe give the bearing on the post a bit of a wipe. So I'll put my center drive shaft in there now, just so I know where it is. I'm going to grab your top chassis plate, which is part number RH10327. Ooh, nice. Now I've just had to grab my old top chassis plate back because the body posts, got to get that out of it. So there's just a screw underneath, and this is how you modify your body posts too if you have a different shell. That's J. You may have to hold the other side with pliers because it'll turn. So yeah, if you find you can't get your shell back on because you've modified things, you've put in a bigger heat sink, then you can get a taller body post. There's a body post on the back too that can also be lengthened. It's a good time to grab it with pliers and sort of put it on the angle that you want it on, instead of always having to guess because it's not where you want it. Just going to have it facing forward. Now we're going to screw that top chassis plate back in, but we're going to leave out the screws on the servo saver and that steering post, and that's just because it'll be easier to get the bulkhead on. There's 2 mushroom head screws, remember those back here? Now those 2 screws are in, we're going to put the front bulkhead back on. So I just noticed on my shock, I'll just point this out, that is going to snap if it hits anything else, I think. So I'll show you a little trick. So if you've got an aquarium, just take a very small piece of air hose and then split it, like so. Just cut it into a little square, and then very carefully drill a hole through it. I've drilled a hole through the middle of it. Now you can put your screw in there. It may be a bit difficult to push it through, but we just want it real thin. And then screw it back in there. Plastic facing the way you want. And there you go. You can do that on the other side too if you want to have some preemptive measures. I just realized this side is just as bad. This is my partner's VRX Spirit, and she goes hard with it because I'm the mechanic. And there you go. Protected. We can put the bulkhead on, line up the drive shaft, like so, and then now I'll finish putting on that top plate. Now we can either flip it around. Okay, now all 4 screws are in. Flip it back around. So I'm just going to take that arm from earlier that was broken, and I'm going to push the bushing in. So that went in pretty easily, so it'll probably fall out again. That's why I'm using a new one, and this is an emergency spare that goes in the toolbox that I take with me. You'll notice I still haven't dealt with the sway bar. Just leave it till last. Couple more things to connect here. So we'll put a screw into the servo saver from this arm. Alright, it's looking pretty good. Now I was just going to get rid of this brushed est by, and we're putting in a brushless est. And that's about it for part 1. So we've repaired a couple of things, created at least one spare part, and now we're going to move on to the electronics, brushless est we ended on, and then the 3650 motor in there too. So stay tuned for part 2.